All right, here we are, the legendary Madison Square Garden, New York, the venue for some of the most iconic and legendary fights of all time throughout history. We're talking Muhammad Ali, we're talking legendary boxers going back a very, very long time. And of course, this is a place where I fought against George St. Pierre, got choked out, unconscious in round 3. So hopefully Tom Aspinall Saturday night doesn't recreate that. Or maybe he does. Maybe he chokes out Sergey Pavlov and puts him to sleep. And I'll tell you what, there's a very, very good chance of that. Now, this weekend, as I said, Tom's stepping up on 2.5 weeks' notice. And the parallel with myself there is that I did the exact same thing. Of course, I fought Luke Rockhold, UFC 199. And at UFC 199, I went out there, I beat him, round 1, got the knockout, got the finish, became champion of the world. And that was against an opponent that had already fought, that a lot of people thought I had no credibility stepping in there. A lot of people thought I was going to get smoked, I was going to lose, I was going to get absolutely destroyed, and I was just there for a payday, and that was that. But guess what? They didn't know the history, they didn't know the details. And it's much like Tom Aspinall. So how do you step up on 2 weeks' notice and become champion of the world? Well, the reality is, and I said this to Tom, and he's very kindly mentioned this in some of the interviews, it's not about the 2 weeks. The 2 weeks, yeah, okay, you can do some final preparation, you can look at your opponent, you can game plan and strategize, and you can try and shift a bit of weight or run some sprints and things like that. But the reality is, you're not going to learn any new skills. You can maybe improve your fitness a little bit, but you can switch on mentally. You can focus and mentally prepare yourself for the task and the challenge at stake. And that's what I did, because I'd trained my entire life. I'd always been a scrapper growing up. I was always a kid that got into a lot of fights. I did a lot of martial arts. I won a lot of tournaments. I turned pro. I was having a good career. When I got to the UFC, I went up and I went down. I went up and I went down. Got to #1 contender matchup several times. Always fell short at the last hurdle. And a lot of people said, that's it, you're done. You're never going to become a champion. You've had a good career, but you're not one of the greats. So when I got this opportunity, when Chris Weidman fell out, when he was injured, I put my hand up straight away. I messaged Dana White. I said, look, listen, I'll do this. I'll step in. They said, Mike, we love you. You're our second choice. Jacare's our first option. And I thought, well, that's that. Jacare's going to get the shot. He's higher ranked than me. He won his last fight, I think. So that was that. But lo and behold, I did get the fight. I got the shot, and I was walking into a gym. And as I walked into the gym, my phone started exploding, all the notifications, WhatsApp, Twitter, text messages, all the rest of it. I look at my phone, and Dana White had just announced that I was fighting Luke Rockhold on 2 weeks' notice to step up UFC 199 at the Forum in Los Angeles. And what was the first thing that went through my mind? Doubt, negativity. Started thinking, I don't believe this. This is so typical of my career. I've wanted a title fight my entire life. Now here I am, I'm stepping up on short notice against somebody that's already beaten me. I'm gonna lose, I'm out of shape, all these type of things, and the world's gonna laugh at me, and they're gonna say, see, I told you, he was never that good. He was never championship material. So I went for a run, and if you've seen my documentary, you know this stuff, but we're gonna move on from this in a minute. I went for a run, and as I'm running along, I'm having all these negative thoughts, as I said, and I called Jason Perillo, my coach. I spoke to him about it, and he said, Mike, what are you talking about? And this is exactly what I told Tom Aspinall. He said, what are you talking about, Mike? He said, you've been training your entire life. You're a world-class martial artist. He said, you just beat Anderson Silva, the greatest of all time, not too long ago. He said, you've been training. You know how to fight. You're a tough bastard. He said, start having these negative thoughts and let's go out there and let's win a fucking world championship. And of course, that's what we did. And when it came to the night, I felt no pressure. I felt no pressure because #1, everyone thought I was going to lose. Secondly, I hadn't done a full camp, okay? And I just went out there and I thought, listen, I've got to swing. I've got to swing for the fences. And if I catch him, maybe I'll drop him, because going 5 rounds, that's going to favour him. So, and as we know, I caught him in the first round. That was that. I became the champion. That's all great. So how does that relate to Tom Aspinall? Well, Tom's doing the same thing. And Tom's from the same neck of the woods as I am. I'm from a small town called Clitheroe, about 40 minutes away from Manchester. Tom's from Atherton, about 5-10 minutes away from Manchester. So same part of the world, very similar type of people, to be honest. Tom's a bit more humble, Tom's bigger, Tom's better. Tom's ripped through the absolute elite heavyweights, one after the other. Okay, so there's a big, big difference. Right? I beat most people. There were some stoppages, there were some decisions, and there were some losses. Tom hasn't had any losses. Tom has finished every opponent, most of them in the first round. 1 or 2 got to the second round, okay? So stepping up, 2.5 weeks notice, right? he might have those doubts, but because of the wins, because of the size of him, and because of how disciplined he is, I don't think that negativity will creep in. Now, of course, he's going up against Sergey Pavlov, who has stepped up on short notice to replace Jon Jones and Stipe. We know what happened with Stipe. Sorry, Jon Jones. He injured himself. He's going to be out for a while. But Sergey was the backup fighter. So Sergey's going to be in shape. And Sergey, looking at this fight, if he was going to replace either Jon or Stipe, both guys are wrestlers. Jon Jones was probably going to take Stipe down. Stipe was probably thinking about taking Jon Jones down. So Sergey Pavlov, without a shadow of a doubt, has been working on his takedown defense very diligently. That will have been a big part of his camp, and as always, get in the best shape possible. So the problem that creates for Tom is that even though he's an athlete, even though he's dedicated and disciplined, he probably will be at a slight deficiency in terms of cardio and stamina as the fight goes on. And in terms of Sergey preparing for the takedown defense, that might make it a little bit harder for Tom to get the takedown. And if he does take him down, Sergey will have been drilling how to get back to the feet, okay? But how is the fight going to go down? Well, I'll tell you right now. Sergey, as we know, knockout power. 6-1 in the UFC, lost to Alistair over him. Alistair threw a kick. Alistair caught the kick, pushed him down, went down into ground, boom, 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 nailed him with elbows, got the finish. Other than that, he's gone through everyone, okay? And some elite heavyweights as well. Derek Lewis, the knockout king. Taito Wavasa, Curtis Blaze last time, a very, very good wrestler, knocked them all out amongst many others as well. So Tom has to be careful. He's not going to stand in front of him and just swing and get down in the pocket, because that's a crapshoot. That's just throwing it up to chance. Two big heavyweights, small gloves, just swinging for the fences in the pocket. One of them is going to drop. Now, Tom can bang. Look at his last fight against Marcin Tybura. Bang, bang, big right hand, dropped him, went down, finished him. That was it. So he's got power, but he's also got ridiculously good timing on his takedowns. Tom Aspinall has been doing this his entire life. He was teaching grown men jiu-jitsu when he was 15, 16 years old, and he can wrestle. He can wrestle at a very, very high level as well. So here's what I think is going to happen for Tom. Tom's going to go out there, the fight's going to start, and let's just say this is Sergey Pavlov here. Tom's going to be here because he moves so well on his feet. He's going to step in, bam, jab, out the way. Here, bam, out the way. In and out movement, boom, boom, away from the counters of Sergey. And then when he steps in, and Sergey thinks he's going to come with the right hand, he's going to level change, he's going to shoot in, he's going to run through him, and he's going to put him on the ground. And I think that when Tom puts him on the ground, that's going to be it. It's going to be a wrap. Tom has ridiculous control. He has heavy downward pressure, high-level jiu-jitsu, and an extremely high fight IQ. As I said, he's been doing this almost his entire life. He's going to pin him down, he's going to elbow, he's going to pass guard, he's going to choke him out. And I don't know what with. Maybe he finishes him with ground and pound. Maybe it's a submission, a rear naked choke, who knows? But I'm very, very confident that when the time comes, when Tom gets him down, and this is a bold claim, I am calling it round one. And that's not because I'm disrespecting Sergey Pavlov. I think Sergey's incredible, and I'm a fan of the guy. I love watching him fight. I love the intimidation. I love what a scary monster he is. But compared to Tom Aspinall, I really think Tom is the future of the heavyweight division. And this is a big shout and it's a bold claim. But I think Tom will go out there next year when Stipe and Jon finally throw down, whoever it is, I think Tom's going to go through them as well. Then I think Tom's going to go on this sensational, legendary run, defend the belt at heavyweight more times than anyone else, and then retire as the greatest, well, not only the greatest heavyweight of all time, but the greatest British mixed martial artist in history. So there it is. There's my breakdown of the main event. There's my prediction for the main event. And as we can see, we're here, Madison Square Garden. Big Tom's arriving shortly. We're going to do a little walk and talk, a little sit down, a little chit chat. But there you go. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, ring the bell. See you soon.